transformative power of dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. For those of you that are familiar with DreamBank, welcome back. And for those of you that this is your first time joining us, welcome. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community destination and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's always something for every dreamer. Our always free offerings are designed to help you celebrate your dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. Now I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker. Candice Denise is a highly rated inspirational speaker with 3+ years of experience as a speaker, self-care coach, group facilitator, and digital content creator. Candice speaks with individuals, groups, and organizations to amplify and empower them to master their well-being. Candice Denise is an author of Self-Care for Busy People ebook and creator of the Self-Care Life card deck. All right, take it away.
Hey everyone. Well, hello and thanks for having me. Excited to be here. We're going to be talking about own your narrative and the power and truth in your dream pursuit. And so we're going to delve in because we've got a little time with a lot of information. And so I want to make sure that I share as much as possible with you. And so we're going to follow along here with my trusty screen for us. Let's see. It's always one thing. I don't know why we're not clicking through here. Let's see. All right. Sorry, you guys. I don't know what's happening. We're having a little, let's see, weird. We just tested this out and we were doing great. So give me 1 second. Ah, I see we were at the end. I'm already finished before we started. So let's get going. So we're going to own your narrative. Okay. So the power and truth in your dream pursuit. So, as Madeline said, thank you so much for having me. I am your speaker, Candice Denise, and just a little briefness about me. I am a motivational speaker. I am a self-care coach, a digital content creator. That is what I do. But who I am, I like to consider myself a lifelong dreamer and a student of life because honestly, I feel like life is just a lot better when we have a dream to pursue. It makes life worth living in a lot of ways. And so I'm also a student of life because there's always something to learn every day, each and every way. All right. So today we want to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about understanding owning your narrative, why it's important. We're going to discuss understanding the power of your story, unveiling the truths in your dream pursuit, actionable steps that you can take to empower your narrative, because I don't believe in just giving information without giving you some steps. And then we're going to have some Q&A at the end. So let's go. All right. So why your narrative matters. Okay. When we hear that, we need to understand that owning your narrative matters because honestly, your story defines you, okay? Your personal narratives shape the individual identity of who you are, and they influence the perception of yourself and what you think of others. And so the things that we tell ourselves oftentimes are the things that we believe of ourselves. The things that we tell ourselves about others is what we tend to believe about them. And so you have to be really careful about the narrative that you give yourself because it can stop you from even dreaming, depending on what you're saying to yourself about yourself and what you're believing. All right. That impacts your dreams because our stories impact our ability to pursue and achieve those dreams. If that story that you're telling yourself doesn't align with what you actually believe, then it's going to stop you from getting where you want to go. Right. And then another thing that it's important to know why your narrative matters is that there is a level of empowerment through self-understanding. Okay. The power of self-understanding and how it can um, inspire you to really control your narrative and pursue your aspirations with confidence. When you understand yourself better, you actually move through life in a lot more confident way, which empowers you to want to pursue things, i.e. your dreams, right? So the power of perception and why this is so important. So there are three things right here. Okay. When we think about the power of perception, first is how perception shapes your reality. All right. Everything is about perspective. Everything is about how we perceive it, and everyone's perception is different. But right now we're talking about ourselves. And so what's important to understand is that perceptions can influence your belief and your actions in your life. Whatever you actually perceive of yourself and of life is actually how you move. My grandmother used to say, how you do one thing is how you do all things. And so if you perceive something a certain way, you tend to operate in a certain way. Okay. Overcoming your limiting beliefs. This is why this is important too. Being able to overcome those limiting beliefs is going to be one of those key factors of pursuing the dream, of being able to get to where it is that you want to go. Why? Because when we are limited in how we think and how we believe in our mindsets, it stops us. All right. So I want to give you two simple strategies that help you to overcome limiting beliefs. All right. My first one is you have to reframe your negative thoughts. What does that mean? That means that if you happen to say to yourself, I'm not good enough, you need to change that to say, I'm capable and worthy of success. Why? Because you're retraining the brain. You are stopping yourself from having that limiting belief. Right. The second thing is to change the thought process, as I like to say, combat the thought. Okay. So if you're having this limiting belief, then one of those things that you can do is say, is this based on fact or assumption? What I'm believing, is it based on a fact or assumption? Because that right there will help you to overcome a limiting belief. Because a lot of times what we're thinking is not based on actual facts, it's based on our assumptions. That in itself will help you to move that limiting belief out the way so that you can move forward with the dreams that you want to pursue. Okay. And then third, embracing positive self-talk. This is one that we all, I don't care where you are in your journey in life, we all navigate embracing positive self-talk. It's not easy to do. I'm sure many of us, maybe today might have had a thought that didn't align with something that was positive of ourselves, right? It could be the smallest of things, but we have to be able to practice positive self-talk because it honestly is a tool that's going to help you build up a level of resilience, and it supports an inner dialogue for you. You need to have an inner dialogue that is supportive of you, not against you. And so when you have positive self-talk, you are supporting yourself versus being against yourself. All right. I told you we got a lot of information, so I know I'm moving through things, but I want to make sure we cover all of this. All right. So let's go back here. Uncovering your truths. Okay, that's the next thing that's really important when it comes to pursuing your dreams. The the thing about uncovering your truth is you have to be able to identify your personal truths and values. Okay, so let's start by getting clear on what are your personal truths and values. Right, I want you to take a moment right now as we're going through this presentation to reflect on what truly matters to you. Deep down inside, what matters to you? What are your core principles that you feel like actually guide you through life? Because ultimately, that's what it's about. All right. These truths and these values are the foundation ultimately of who you are and what you stand for. When you embrace them, you honor them, and you let them be your compass as you navigate your journey. So you need to know, what do I really believe? What matters to me deep down inside? Okay. This is how you start to uncover your truths, is by asking yourself what matters to you. Second, aligning your goals with your authenticity. All right. So when we talk about goal setting, it's not just about setting your goals. Okay. It's also about setting goals that align with your authentic self. As you ask yourself right now, are my goals a true reflection of who I am and what I want? Are my goals right now that I have a true reflection of who I am and what I want? That is important. That's very important when it comes to goal setting, because a lot of times we have goals that someone else has given us, that someone else expects of us, versus the ones that we expect or want for ourselves. And so at this point, as you're pursuing your dreams, as you're owning your narrative, asking yourself, the goals that I have, are they my own? Okay. And when your goals are in sync with your authentic desires and your values, you will find greater motivation to actually fulfill those. A lot of times when we see people that are go-getters or they are goal-getters, it's because they are going after dreams that actually belong to them and they're not someone else's. They're not borrowed, they're not expected, they're not put on them, but they belong to them. Okay. And then lastly, let's address here embracing vulnerability in pursuit of your dreams. Okay. When you think about your vulnerability, it's a natural feeling to feel a little scared, to be vulnerable about what it is that you want to do. Okay. But vulnerability is the gateway for your authentic connection to your dreams. It allows you to be open, to be honest, and to truly fully be yourself. When you get to be free, when you get to be vulnerable, you don't feel limited. You feel capable. You don't feel like you're hiding. You feel like you get to show yourself what it is that you really want to be and do. And so don't look at your vulnerability as a weakness. It is a strength because it allows you to unveil those parts of you that are probably going to be needed as you pursue your dreams. Embracing your authentic voice. This is really, really important because there are three things that I want to talk about when we talk about embracing your authentic voice. Okay. Finding your unique voice. What does that mean? You have to be able to celebrate what makes you you, whatever those nuances are, those weird things, as we like to say, what things make you you. You have to be willing to celebrate those. Your voice matters when it comes to being authentic. Okay. It's a key to you personally as well as professionally. And when you show up as your true self, you feel more confident. You feel more capable. You also inspire others to show up as their true selves. You inspire others to find their authentic voice. Okay? Embrace the things that make you quirky. Embrace the things that you're passionate about. Embrace the things that you have perspectives about. They are what make you shine. And that's necessary. No one wants a cookie cutter carbon copy of a dreamer. You want to be your own, but owning those unique voices of yourself is what makes you you. Okay. Amplify your authenticity in your communication. All right. And so when we say that, that means dive into your communication that allows you to connect with others. Again, no one wants you to be like someone else. And so find ways to practice listening to others. Okay. It's important. We want people to hear us, but we also have to practice listening. We want to also make sure that you are sharing your stories and your experiences that authentically are yours, because these make you relatable and these also make you memorable. This is all how you start to own and embrace your voice. And then lastly, remind yourself that it's important to build a level of trust with people, okay? Because when you build trust, what you're building is credibility and you're also building a connection personally and professionally. And so being able to not just be authentically you, but building these honest and trustworthy connections with people are also important about owning your narrative, owning who you are, you know? Owning the pursuit of the dream. It's not just about the end result of getting to the dream, but all of this is about the journey to get there. Okay. So, as I told you, I like to give actionable steps. So, here's where I'm going to give you 4 things that hopefully can help you as you are pursuing your dreams and owning your narrative. Okay. And so, the first thing here is reflect. Okay. So, journaling prompts for self reflection are really, really important. And here are 3 questions you can ask yourself. Maybe you're not a journaler, that's okay, right? But maybe you are a thinker, And so if you're like, well, what can I even reflect on as I'm trying to take actionable steps towards owning my narrative and the power and the truth in the pursuit of my dreams? First, reflect on what are you grateful for? What do you appreciate at this moment in life? And how are these things positively impacting your life? So what are you grateful for? What do you appreciate and how do they impact your life in a positive way right now? Second, reflect on your, as I like to call it, your grows and your glows, okay? Grows are the areas that you can grow in, right? How have you overcome some things? Okay? And then look at those areas in which you glow, in which you excel. and ask yourself, how have I excelled? What allowed me to excel in this area? Third thing to reflect on as you're journaling when it comes to self reflection is what values align with you. Okay. What are your values? How do your actions and decisions align with these values? So when you think about what your values are, ask yourself, how do my actions and the decisions that I make every day align with my values? Or do they align at all? Okay. Second thing, action step. Define and clarify. Clarify your values and your goals. What do I mean? I want you to figure out what is your value system. What is your value system? What are those top 3 things, top 5 things that you value? Write them on a post-it note, put it on your computer, put it in your phone, write it on the refrigerator, wherever, but make sure that you are staying connected with your value system. What things matter most to you? Because you need to keep that as your why. Right? A lot of times that's your why you're pursuing the dream, those values, those things that matter to you. They are the reason probably 9 times out of 10 why you're pursuing the dreams. Okay. And then think about your goals, clarify those. I like to break goals down monthly. A lot of times we try to do goals this way, and then it feels unattainable versus doing goals this way. So small goals also are important too. So try to maybe break your goals down instead of trying to do it quarterly, maybe do it monthly. Maybe you need to do it bi-weekly. What are you actually capable of doing? Okay. The third step, small steps towards big dreams. Oftentimes, I feel like we will try to dive into the deep end of the pool, and that's just way too much. All right. So take small, consistent steps towards your big dreams. We don't feel like small steps matter, but they do. You don't have to take a big leap every day. Small steps still lead you forward to where you're trying to go. So find a way to work on that dream every day, even if it's in the smallest way. Reading something, looking up something, brainstorming something, talking to someone about something, but every day, chip away at the dream. All right. And then last but not least, make sure you're seeking support because we all need support. As much as we think we can do this thing alone, and I understand you can't share your dreams with everyone. I get it. But it's also important to have people that you trust that you can share with, even if it's just one person, but someone that's going to support you, someone that you can call on to talk things through, to encourage you, because it can be tough on the pursuit. It's not all glamorous. And so you need to be able to have someone who can support you along the way. And it doesn't always have to be someone that it may be a stranger. All right. So next, cultivating resilience. Okay. This is huge right here. Cultivating resilience. Okay. There are 3 things I want you to do as you are trying to cultivate your resilience. I want you to embrace your setbacks as learning opportunities. Why? Because setbacks are just that. They are ways for us to learn. And a lot of times we think, oh, this is the worst thing ever. Well, a lot of times it feels like that, but it's not. It's actually somewhere, it's a place for you to actually learn. Okay. Celebrate and understand that setbacks are not just setbacks. They are opportunities for you to learn so that you can take that and keep moving forward in your pursuit of what you're trying to do, right? Next, resilience in the face of adversity. The thing about resilience is it shows us what we're made of. There are going to be a lot of people who want to pursue dreams, but not everyone is resilient enough to keep going. We see tough times, we see hardships, and we automatically want to give up. And if you do, you have to ask yourself, was this dream actually yours? That is a good way, or was it given to you? Because if it's yours and you really believe this is something that you're meant to pursue, then you have to find a way to keep being resilient. And that doesn't mean that you get up quickly, right? But you get up and you keep going forward. Last, nurturing a growth mindset. This is so important because you have to know and you have to believe in yourself that you have the potential to grow and to improve. Keep this in mind, especially as you're overcoming challenges and, opportunities don't fall the way you would like them to. Because here's something that I want you to remember. Failures become stepping stones, okay? Setbacks become setups for comebacks. So a lot of times when we have those setbacks, those make the best stories for a good comeback. All right. Last but not least, celebrate your progress. Okay. Sometimes we're so busy on the road to getting where we're trying to be that we forget to celebrate along the way. So you got to find time to celebrate the achievements and the milestones, no matter how big or small along the way. I don't care what it is. If it was one tiny thing, it may be tiny to someone else, but it's big to you. Do not discredit those things. Second, make sure you're practicing gratitude for the growth. Give yourself a level of pat on the back and a thanks to yourself for saying, you know what? I was able to grow through this. I'm acknowledging the progress that I made. I am proud of you. Even in the face of challenges, you still did it. We're still going. You've got to be able to, again, support that positive talk to yourself, right? That positive dialogue. This is about that. And then last but not least, there's value in self-compassion. Okay. There's so much value in being able to give yourself a level of grace and compassion and kindness during those tough times. You don't need yourself beating yourself up. You need support. And you need to understand this is a part of the process. This setback happened. This moment of not working out happened. But I'm still worthy of the dream. I'm still on the right path. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It may take me a little longer. I may have had a detour, but give yourself grace. Don't feel like just because one mistake happened that you're the worst person or that things are not going to work out. No, you got to be able to give yourself the same compassion you give to everyone else. You got to be able to pour that back into yourself as well. This is how true dreamers actually make the dream happen. Okay. Because that self-compassion, honestly, it fosters the resilience and the self-empowerment that you need. I know that there's been so much information, but I want to make sure just some highlights of what we've talked about. Be mindful of your narratives and the things that you're telling yourself, because these things honestly will dictate what you do and don't do on the pursuit of owning your narrative and moving towards your dreams. Okay. Embrace your authentic voice. What makes you you? You're not like everyone else. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of power in that. Take actionable steps. Make sure you're working on the dreams. Make sure you're reflecting. Make sure that you are seeking support as you go along the way. Cultivate resilience. Understand that in order to keep going, there has to be a level of resilience that you will have. It's not going to be easy, and you have to go into it knowing that. And then last but not least, celebrate your progress. So as you go along the way, celebrate, even if today was, I didn't give up. I tried. I kept going. I didn't talk negative to myself. Celebrate those moments, because those are the victories that are going to keep you in the race so that you can actually finish it. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all for letting me come here and talk to you about owning your narrative and the power and truth in your dream pursuits. And so I thank you, American Family Insurance, DreamBank, for having me. Thank you, attendees. And I want to take a moment to open things up.
Wonderful. I didn't see any questions come through yet, but I know I was taking so many notes. And one thing that really resonated with me, and one of my slogans for the year that I tell myself, I have two. One, some is better than none, especially when I can't fight. I set little goals for myself, and if I can't walk for my mile every day, but you know what, I did a half mile, some is better than none. Just that moment to celebrate. And then also, don't let perfection steal the joy of good enough. And
Mm,
so those have just been in the season of life that I'm in right now, with a little at home and juggling a lot. Those have been the two that have really helped me. I'm not saying that I live by them every day, but there's always an opportunity to invite that back into my life. And so that actually really reminded me, and I did need it today. So thank you so much.
you're welcome.
I am looking, so far, I do not see any questions coming through. This will be up on, this presentation will be up on our YouTube page. It takes a little while for it to download, so it'll for sure be up tomorrow, but I'll get to work on it this afternoon. But a lot of people just saying how much that they needed this, which is really fun and exciting. So we'll give one more minute for questions to pop through, but please, I invite you to explore our YouTube page. We have a lot of our past content up there. And also we have some really great events coming up moving forward as well. So I invite you to go onto our website and check that out as well. And so